Hello and welcome to my channel. I am Zodiac Bandit, and today I have some predictions for episode 98 or the Bell Cells live show that is happening later this week. So, technically, there's going to be some potential spoilers and just all around spoilers for Campaign 3 up to episode 97. So, if you aren't caught up yet, I recommend clicking off, and if you don't care, I recommend you keep watching. So there are three predictions I'm going to be going over today, and the first one is the one that everyone's sort of talking about and the one that everyone wants to happen so desperately, and that is the return of Sam Regal. I've been saying this for a while that I think he's been coming back here at this, so I just want to make my prediction, my final prediction clear, which is he will return at the live show, which will be like the biggest pop he can make, which will be the most Sam Regal thing he can do to return in front of a crowd and get a massive explosion of cheers from the fans. Whether it be, he was going to get a cheer from the fans anyway, but whether it be behind screens or whether it be in person, I think he would much prefer being in person. So realistically, I think he's coming back at the live show. It is the most Sam Regal thing he could do. But the question is, what will he be when he returns? And I think we've sort of narrowed it down to three possibilities. And I've talked about these possibilities in the past. I think I've made two videos about it where it was like separate places. One was right after they came back from Ludinus and how many options he sort of had. And the other one was very recently where I talked about how those numbers have really gone down from based on the location they're in, which is in Aor. But I do think there is some very interesting sort of ideas here. The first one was obviously a Aorian sort of treasure hunter, and I don't think I need to explain why that would be possible. Just running an explorer running around by himself in Aor, sort of keeping themselves sort of safe and hidden is like the best way I would imagine running around Aor would work. Like Essek literally says, like the best thing you can do is avoid conflict. So I can definitely see there being a sneakier individual just walking around everywhere without having any issues, and it's definitely possible. But I think that out of all of these possibilities, that's like the most boring one and like the most unrelated to the story. The other one is there is a Ruby Vanguard or disgruntled Ruby Vanguard soldier who is looking to trade sides. And for a lot of people, that one's the most interesting because they're going to have a lot of connections to the Ruby Vanguard and potentially Ludinus, depending on how strong this person is. He's going to potentially be with Ludinus, and then he just betrays Ludinus when they finally catch up to Ludinus. That's a possibility, and I think it would be really cool for it to happen because that would open up any sort of race he could be. He could literally be anything, and he could even be a Ruidus race, one of the Ruidus races. The Bormodos, Rylorans. So he's got a bunch of possibilities with that if he wants to be a part of the Ruby Vanguard or even part of the the Ryloran army or something like that. He has a bunch of options for that sort of thing. But there is another option that I think a lot of people really, really, really like, and I really like it as well. In Aor, there are a bunch of these little time sealed bubbles everywhere around. And a bunch of people are saying that the Bell's House are going to figure out how to open these bubbles of people being trapped in time and release a character from Aor. And that will be Sam Regal's character. And I really like this idea, especially because a lot of people are saying it'll be Ashton and his powers to be the one to sort of wake up or be able to sort of mess with the time enough because he's got his time rage. So his little Dunamancy powers of possibility open up these bubbles and bam, suddenly we have a new Sam Regal character. And I think it'd be really fitting for Ashton to bring the new Sam Regal character in because technically that's what happened with FCG. So I think that'd be a very, nice roundabout way to sort of tie everything together. And it would be really interesting to have a way for these bubbles that we've been seeing all over Aor now be open potentially. The only issue I see with this is exactly how this works would be a lot of people are saying he rolls time on his rage thing, but that's a 1 in 4 chance. So what if they're next to a bubble, they roll rage and it's space and not time? You know what I'm saying? It's kind of a problem with this whole idea that this is a guaranteed thing to happen unless we're going to script it out, but a lot of people don't want things to be scripted out, if that makes sense, because then it looks fake. But if one person's in on it, I guess it's not that big of a deal. I just don't know exactly how this time dilation thing will work unless it's just the way that Ashton's weird connection to Dunamancy works that unlocks it depending on when he rages. But if that were the case, I'm pretty sure we would have had a bubble open in episode 97. But anyway, I think these three possibilities are the most likely. My least favorite option is now the Aeorian Treasure Hunter. I just don't feel like that would connect to the story very well, and it would be a character who's primarily built around solo work and stealth by themselves to sort of explain how they could be an Aeor all by themselves. So realistically, I don't think that would mend well with the party. I think the other two just have infinite options for what character class they can be. So realistically, if I had to pick one, I would probably pick the Ruby Vanguard member to be like the one that I want to see the most, and then the Aeorian time displaced person would be very interesting as well. So it's like uh, at third place the Treasure Hunter, second place the time displaced person, and in first place the Ruby Vanguard, because that is the quickest relation to the enemy to the players that they could make, and it would make sense for them to work with this person, not necessarily trust them right away, but to take them into the fold kind of early would be that, because they have a lot of intel that they can share. So I think that would probably be the best route to go. So the second prediction is the party is going to have some sort of verbal confrontation with Ludinus prior to the Dominic's fight. I think it makes more sense that Ludinus is like aware of the party being around. That way he can sort of try to scheme around them being there to deal with Dominox, because I don't think Ludinus is going to necessarily be stupid enough to go like one-on-one against a demon that is like you're self-loathing and all this sort of stuff. While we don't know if Ludinus has any, he most certainly does. There's no way he doesn't. Most people do. But it is a character that going one-on-one against doesn't seem like a great idea, right? Any self-doubt you have in yourself, any sort of self-loathing will be exploited by Dominox, and we can see that even like characters like Chetney, who, while he projects a very confident being of himself, there is obviously that underlying little bit of, self-doubt, and that little twinge of space where he was able to sort of squiggle in, he was able to manipulate Chetney into seeing a bunch of children that he potentially killed in the past. Potentially, maybe not, who knows. But that's just the point. Ludinus will definitely have some, skeletons in the closet that can be exploited. And because of those skeletons in the closet, I think Ludinus is smart enough to know to push someone else in first so he can sort of pick off anyone who's sort of left. And I think Ludinus is of that sort of caliber to be like, you know what? These people are here. They're also a problem for me. Let me just kill two birds with one stone. I'm going to let them all get in close, and then I'm going to blow up the engine, because, who knows if the engine is even necessary at this point. But it would be better just to get rid of all of these things, put Dominox back into the abyss, get rid of the Bell's Hells. I win all around. So I feel like Ludinus is going to sort of be at a distance from the party, and they're going to notice him, especially Aurum, because Aurum just sees everything. He can see the players playing the game, basically. So it makes sense that Aurum would eventually see him. And I think they have a verbal confrontation where they're a distance away from each other to where they can't physically harm each other in any sort of way. And the party start revealing to him like they were the ones who destroyed the mine. They were the ones who, went into the core pillar and took the scientist. They were the ones who killed Odahan Thule, although I'm pretty sure he'd be well aware of that. They were the ones who, they probably wouldn't rat out the fact that Liliana's been sort of compromised, but they could probably say something along the lines of, we're the reason that so many, Rudisborn might be dead, because we sort of pointed them in that direction. They could take credit for that, and it would work really well. So realistically, I would really like this moment to happen, just so we can see, the ball drop on Ludinus's, he is in control persona going away. I would very much like to see that moment where Ludinus gets caught up on what the hell has been happening, because maybe he's been here the whole time and he doesn't know. So I'd very much like that idea of potentially seeing Ludinus get really pissed off about the fact that these little chuckle fucks, who I should have killed ages ago, are fucking with everything I'm doing. And I think that'd be very fun for us to see as viewers. So something that I've been thinking about a lot recently is how strong Ludinus is. How strong he has to be in order to command someone around like Odahan Thule. Someone who made the party look easy. Someone who killed 5 members of the party. 5 separate members, if we really think about it for long enough. It is 5 different people of a 7-group party. Odahan Thule killed 5. She has like a what is it, like an 80% kill rate on this group. So in order for Ludinus to look half as intimidating as Odahan Thule, he needs to kill someone. And it's kind of hard to predict who I think out of all of the characters he would kill. If anything, I feel like he'd probably kill Fern. Like if he had to pick, he would be like Fern. you're that fucking Zathuda bastard child, and he ran away from us now. So fuck you. I'm gonna kill you to prove that he's an idiot. I feel like if he's got a in character choice, he'd kill Fern. But outside of that, mechanic wise, picking who is closest to you, sort of thing, and I can't predict that. But if you wanted to show Ludinus' strength within a fight against Dominox and the party, because it'd be like a three-way fight in this scenario playing out. If you want to show his strength, and you don't want to kill the players, because killing a player right now means you have to reintroduce yet another new character, and that could be, kind of bad at the moment with there being potentially like less than 30 episodes left of the campaign. So realistically, timing-wise, better off not to kill a player. An NPC is right there in the group, and his name is Essek. Now hang on. Don't come at me. I don't want Essek to die. But as a DM, thinking from a DM standpoint, I don't want to kill off a player because introducing a new character this late, I already have to do it once. Doing it again is kind of a pain in the ass. If it happens, it happens. But if I sort of get to sort of pick and manipulate how I sort of want my villain to sort of target people, not only does Ludinus have a past with Essek being the one to bring the Cerberus Assembly the beacon in the first place, and then sort of Essek was part of creating the ties between the dynasty and the empire, the Dwendalian Empire. So it's kind of messed a few things up by doing so. And then the beacon was stolen, and then the people that Essek was with were the people that had the beacon. And so there's a bit of a past with Essek and Ludinus. So the fact of the matter is, Ludinus would be like, "You're a son of a bitch. You fucked up a lot of things 7 years ago. You son of a bitch. Time to die." And he has that past with him. Not to mention, it would be very impactful. Can you imagine a crowd full of people who love Essek seeing Essek die? How brutal would that be for this crowd of people to be like, "Oh, we get to watch Matt play as our favorite NPC, Essek, who's floating around he's dead. Oh shit." And I could just imagine a very visceral crowd reaction. Crowd reactions, a lot of people want to see the cheers and stuff like that. I want to see Matt do something where it makes everybody really sad. I think that is something that has been sort of missing from a live show, because you get moments where things are really tense while you're watching at home. Imagine that times 50 when you're sitting in front of the group playing. I think something like that would be really cool, especially for us to watch at home who can't go to the live show. To still have that crowd reaction be our reaction in real life would be very cool and very interesting. And I think it's something that would be hated at first, but I feel like as the campaign sort of gone on and goes on, and people talk about it in the future, "Oh, you know what, this moment is one of the best moments because it's very emotional." I think that would be something that would be very cool to see. Now, do I want Essek to die? No. Do I think it would be very impactful? Hell yes. So that's why I think it should happen. That's why it's my prediction. So there you have it, my 3 predictions for the Bell's House live show, or episode 98. So let me know what you think, and what do you guys think is going to happen in this episode? I gave 3 kind of vague predictions because it's kind of hard to really tell, especially with where they are, and there's very little information on the current location. They're on the 8th level of the Genesis ward or something like that. So it's kind of hard to really tell exactly what to sort of predict, especially because we don't know if there are any of these sort of time displaced bubbles down there in that level. So it's kind of hard. We haven't seen any yet. We've just seen corpses. So again, kind of difficult to tell exactly what's going to happen, if Sam's character is going to be even possible to be an Aeorian displaced person. There might not even be any air bubbles down there or any of these time bubbles down there. Who knows? And then they might not even see Ludinus. They might just have a fight with Dominox. So Essek might be safe. Who knows? Or Dominox versus Bell's Hells happen. Ludinus waits in the wings and snipes Essek from the back. Yeah, that seems more likely now that I think about it. Just Essek being shot in the back. God damn. Anyway, I'll see you guys on Friday for whatever video I make next. Peace. But before I go, I do want to just say one more thing, which is thank you. Last week, after the episode 97 recap video, we hit 1,000 subscribers, which is a wild number to me. The idea that, imagine it this way. I'm standing on a stage, and there's 1,000 people in front of me, and I'm talking to all of them. that's a wild situation for me personally to be in, and just to imagine it is crazy. I've done things in front of 100 people, 150 people, and that is nerve-wracking. The idea that there is 1,000 people who thought, hey, these aren't half bad, let's subscribe. That's really cool and really badass to me. So I just want to say one more time, thank you. We are currently at 1,011 subscribers. We should keep on going because I'm not going to stop. I'm not stopping. Not anytime soon. Not stopping. So yeah, thank you guys for subscribing, and I will see you guys on Friday for whatever video I make next. Peace.